Here at the historical park, I'm the park superintendent. We have about 30 acres and a dozen historic structures that date back from we interpret from the 1840s to the 1940s. So we have log cabins like this building, all the way up to a modern bungalow that was built in 1937. Mark Long and I met through a colleague of both of ours, Margaret Hoogstra. Margaret's the director of the Texas Forts Trail, and apparently she and Mark went to school way back when together. And they were at a gathering and started talking about work. And Margaret and Mark started talking about projects and whatnot. And Margaret told Mark about the work I was doing on the Texas forts, and Mark was looking for a new project, so it all kind of came together. The techniques that I would use would largely be driven by, again, what Mother Nature was giving me at any time. If there were a lot of modern intrusions around the fort, then you try to shoot, at an aperture that the background would be a little bit blurry. If it's all kind of natural behind the fort, then you'd shoot a little narrower aperture so you could capture, not just the fort but the surrounding areas. So, but largely it was just determined on taking pictures of what looked good to me under the conditions that I was given to by Mother Nature, and working with what you had. I used 3 cameras mainly. All were Canon cameras. I used a Canon 7D as the my main camera. 50D is kind of a backup camera, or I put a different lens on it to get a different effect. And then on a couple of the shoots, I took the little Canon point and shoot, the G12, which is a real, it's a much smaller camera than the big DSLRs, but it has pretty much all of the same ability that the bigger cameras do. And because of its small size, you could kind of put it in places where you couldn't put the bigger cameras and get a different angle. I decided on the photos largely by just what Mother Nature was giving me at any given opportunity. A lot of times you go in with an idea of what you wanted to get when you got there, and the sun was in the wrong spot, or it was cloudy or overcast or whatever, and so you kind of just took what you were given by Mother Nature. And part of what I wanted to do was put the forts in context of kind of their historical surroundings. So I would go in and try to take pictures of the forts in a way that didn't have modern intrusions like cars or stoplights or electrical wires or something like that. So try to capture the forts in a way that this is what they would have looked like 150 years ago, 130 years ago. Light painting is something that I've been working on a little bit on my own. I had a bit of help. I took a workshop from the Texas state photographer Wyman Meinzer at Fort Griffin. But basically, what light painting is you take images of an object in the dark when there's no light, and you paint what you want highlighted with a flashlight. And it's a neat way for a photographer to be a little more creative with the subject, because pretty much anybody can come and stand where someone else took a picture from and get a similar image. But with the light painting, you really have kind of the opportunity to be a little more creative with what you highlight or what you want featured in the photograph. The overall experience was just fantastic. I'm a history person. That's what I do for work, and I love doing the photography as well. And it was a really good opportunity for me to put my professional life and kind of personal pastime together at the same time, and being able to sit out on location on some of these forts where you're out in the middle of nowhere, and it's just you and 100 years or so of history is pretty magical.